Hello everyone, welcome to my first video on Xbox modding, or at least a version of it. I am going to be internalizing a Wi-Fi adapter to make my original Xbox a little bit updated. Because personally I don't feel like we're in a 100-foot Ethernet cable right now. So what I did was I went on Amazon and I bought this Vonets like Wi-Fi bridge router thing, whatever you want to call it. It's nice because you can either use the Ethernet port provided on the device, or you could use the Ethernet cable, which is what I'm going to be going with. At least I think I am. And then it's also just USB powered, so it runs off 5 volt, which is really nice because the Xbox, at least the original, has a very powerful 5 volt rail on the power supply, so we don't have to worry about needing extra power for that, because this obviously on USB 2.0 takes maybe a half an amp power. The way I'm getting my half an amp power is I took a USB extension cord, chopped it off, and then down here it's underneath the board and it's going to my 5 volt rail, which on the 1.6 Xbox is my orange and black. Those are, if you ever looked at the bottom of your power supply, all these orange wires go to one solder point in the blacks. The only little issue that I have with using these is that this is continuous power, not switched power. But our switched 5 volt that actually turns the system on uses like maybe a half an amp power, and so since my Wi-Fi here uses a half an amp power, I didn't really feel like chancing that like it wouldn't turn on the Xbox or not. So I just went with continuous because seriously, half an amp is not going to kill my electric bill all that much. It's pretty much like your phone charger, always running. So anyways, I soldered my extension underneath to those 2 points. My recommendation is once you're done with that to maybe take and zip tie this, because right now with this going around a lot, it could easily snap off, and the wire could come off, it could short something, cause a lot of damage. So we'll zip tie that right together, since obviously this is not going to be separating from this board any longer. Alright, routing this wire, I originally had it routed kind of like this, so it was out the back. Don't do this way, because at one point I was actually hearing my fan go like roar, and I was like, oh crap. Yeah, my wire was rubbing against the fan and my fan was not appreciating that. So what I'm actually going to do for this one is I'm going to take this wire and I'm actually going to route it just down underneath and right through this little channel, bring it over here, because I do have enough room here on this side between here and my DVD drive holder to put some wires, and it doesn't really need a whole lot of ventilation because I'm only going to be running just a cord over here. Obviously I have the mod chip on here, so another thing I'm going to do is I have my control panel here. Honestly, I don't really use this thing a lot, so I'm going to take this out of the normal area and I'm actually going to store it like right here in the front, because I just got done painting my Xbox and it came out awesome. It's pearlescent white, and I spray painted my cage blue. This is the top of the Xbox, and I did my jewel in blue as well. Just for anyone wanting to know, the green on your jewel is just spray painted green, so I just took a random orbital sander, flipped it upside down, just took my jewel and just kind of rubbed it and took all that green off. The nice part is that the actual logo of your Xbox is embossed, so you won't lose the chrome, which is really nice. So all I did was took that off, and I took some Rust-Oleum 2X blue, spray paint on there, about 1 coat, so that's all you need, and voila, I have a blue Xbox logo. One thing I will recommend when taking this thing off of your Xbox, use a heat gun, but please spread the heat evenly, otherwise you're going to end up melting your side a little bit when you go to pry it off. Don't worry too much about this. This is actually a good thing to rough this up a bit, because it means your glue will stick better. And also when you go to put on your Xbox, you don't have to worry about getting it perfect, because these little spots right here, they fit into the edges of your Xbox. So if I go to put it in, if I can get it to right there, see, and it won't move. Anyways, yeah, that turned out really cool. So, now that I'm off of that, let's talk about this here. Bought this off Amazon. This whole thing cost me like 10 bucks and was like, holy crap, 10 bucks. Okay, because the cable itself, holy crap, that kind of comes out of there a little hard. There. This little guy here cost me $1.50. It's a Monoprice 6-inch cable. I got Monoprice because I really like the products that they have. And then this here is just a keystone Ethernet coupler for keystone plates. I was going to go with the normal coupler, but the normal couplers were just a bit thicker. I didn't want all that thickness. Also, I mean, I bought this in a 5-pack for $8 because I was like, hey, I got plenty of Ethernet cables, and if I have to run one and then have to extend one, I want to be able to do that. So for $8, I bought a 5-pack versus at Home Depot, I was going to go buy and pay $4 for just a single. I was like, well, for the twice, I can get 5. So I went with that. Anyways, my plan with this is to take it and actually mount it. I'm gonna show you upside down because I gotta shave this little guy here off. I'm gonna mount it right on top of my motherboard right there, which is gonna be perfect because I'm gonna show you something real quick. I'm usually pretty good at eyeballing like to where to mount things, but this is, I mean, it's literally the perfect, it's the exact same size as this current Ethernet port, even though it's sideways. And so I'm going to mount this right here, and then I've got my little 6-inch cable, and I bought it in white, of course. It matches my Xbox, and this will just kind of plug in here. Now you're probably thinking, well, if I want to internalize this, why the heck would I want an Ethernet cable sticking out? Simple. If for ever what case that I feel like using a wired connection, I can just do it. I don't have to try to go inside. Originally, my thought was to get a 8-pole double throw switch, which, if you don't know what that means, 8-pole means 8 connections. Double throw means you can throw it to 2 different directions or through 2 different devices. And what that would accomplish is I would have to literally go in here and I'd have to like desolder this thing off and solder like 8 wires onto it and go to a switch so I can switch between wired and wireless. I don't really feel like doing that. That's going a long ways even for me. So this will accomplish it, and I mean, honestly, it's not going to look that bad with a little Ethernet pigtail there because that's how a lot of people do it. I was going to do this with the original Xbox Wi-Fi adapter, and I even had one bought, and then I went on an Xbox group and they're like, hey, by the way, that's not going to do any better security than WEP. And I was like, oh, okay, that's going to be a problem. So I went with the M300. Link will be in the description below. I highly recommend this. It's been great. Also with this, it actually comes with like, you know, a kind of like a standard DC plug. So if you really like, you know, wanna put this thing on the outside of your Xbox, you can always, instead of doing this direction, you can always do your 5-volt and maybe put your plug in here. Or, you know, if you want to take your USB instead and put your USB here, which wouldn't be a bad idea because then you'd have a always 5-volt external power. If you want to charge a cell phone or something, it would more than definitely do that. Which I don't think is a bad idea. But I want this whole thing in here because honestly, when the DVD tray goes in here, I want to have plenty of space to mount this right here. And then, I mean, I can easily kind of warp the wires around to fit, but it will easily fit right here, no problems, and it will be nice. The only thing I'm kind of worried about that I haven't tested is whether my cage is going to give any kind of Wi-Fi interference. If it does, that's going to be really fun because what that means is I'm probably going to have to either cut some of this out and fit it kind of back in here, which sucks. I just got this thing spray painted. Using the same paint I did for my Xbox logo, just Rust-Oleum blue. But yeah, anyways, we'll see how that all works. Anyways, let's come back in a little bit and see where we can get to with this. Alright, so I got my motherboard out of here. And I'm just kind of etching my way at this, trying to gauge it best. You can see here about where this is going to be. Trying to figure out, you know, hey, oops, there, get in the camera. I want this to be as close as possible. Using my Dremel to etch it, and then the bit that I'm using is this steel one that's kind of rough on the edge, and it's actually done a great job. It's etching it, it's drilling it. I'll just take my time with this. I don't know if I can actually do this on video or not because my camera or my phone mount more or less does not go up any higher, even though I guess I could make it go up higher if I wanted to. But yeah, we'll come back here in a little bit and let's see if I can get this dremeled out. Here's one thing to always know. I'm going to Dremel this kind of smaller on purpose, and then I can just keep grinding out until it fits properly. I want this to look as good as possible because I just got done spray painting this. I don't know if I'm gonna paint it afterwards. It all depends on how messy it gets, I guess. But here, let's see how I do with this. All right, so this is currently where I'm at. This looks kind of messy, to say the least. This bit does a great job of cutting through the plastic. A lot of times, I actually had to clean the bit off because it melted. But as you can tell, this is not going perfectly, which I'm not expecting. I'm not the best with the Dremel tool. But as you can see, the sizing is actually coming out quite well. We'll give that perspective. So actually, once this is getting a rough cut, I will come back through with some sandpaper and kind of sand this all out. This edge here went a little farther outside than I wanted, but shouldn't be too bad. This is just heated up so much it's kind of sticking to everything. Anyways, getting the metal part out is going to be a little fun because the reason, if you've noticed, I have a little hole right here is because, of course, part of it that I'm going through is this little plastic piece right here, which you can see where it went through. I don't think my bit is going to go through that metal case. I'm going to have to switch my bit out to something a little more aggressive, which is fine because the set that I'm using, technically you could call it vintage at this point, is a Radio Shack Dremel set, and it's got freaking everything. It's got like saw blades in here, and it's got different bits. Just focus that a little better there. So we're gonna switch out our bit in a little bit, and see what we can accomplish. Something maybe a tad more aggressive. Okay, so we switched out our Dremel to a cutting disc, and you might think, well, that's, hold on a second, let me adjust my focus here real quick so you can see, here we go. So that's what I got, and that was, that used to be that. Yeah, it sized down quite a bit, and that's just from this thin metal, so, it's gonna be kind of hard to do this. Anyways, I will show you so far what I got, which looks just about absolutely horrible. I could get my Dremel in there on a straight angle, so that's kind of what I've got so far. Like I said, we'll get this all sorted out. This looks like crap on the back too. I'm going to work at this a little bit more, get a better head on here, and let's just see how much I can not screw this up. Alright, so I went ahead and switched back to this little guy, and I'm going to tell you what, once you get a hole drilled, this thing can actually clean up dang nice. This does not turn out too bad. I'm not ready just yet, just showing you progress on this. But as you can see, I mean, there's my height there. You can see, if we can see my width, I mean, it's getting really close to where this is nearly in there. Let's look on the back side real quick. Yeah, it's looking quite well. So I'm going to do a little bit more cleaning up with this bit here. It looks to me like the bottom, because I want the bottom of the ports to be nearly identical. So I'm going to have to grind this down a little bit here and grind this side right here down, because this side looks about done for where I wanted it. Grind this down a little bit here, and then this a little bit here, and that should be enough. If I can slide that thing through and I want it to be pretty flat, then we're going to call this done, and we can get to the hot glue gun, which I got to find out where it is. So we'll come back. Alright everyone, so I got a little more grinding down. I use stupid autofocus. Hold on just a minute. There we go. Okay, so I grinded down a little bit. I mean, this kind of looks like crap a bit from the outside. On the inside, looks pretty good. I've test fitted this a little bit, and this does kind of go in here really snug, which is actually a good thing. But the way that's coming out looks really good. If I can get my camera to come in here, and then if I can get this focused just a little better. There we go. As you can see by the bottom corners down here, looks like I have to grind a little bit of the metal. And up here looks pretty good. That's just the metal. I went a little higher on my first cut with that cutting wheel, but that's okay because you're not going to see the insides of this too much anyways. So that's looking really good. Obviously this port's not going to be like that. It's going to be flipped, or no, actually, yeah, it will be like that. So that's looking good. I mean, in terms of out around, they don't look too awful bad. If I really want to spray paint this, I could just take some painter's tape around this whole thing and hit that with a shot of white, just standard 2X Rust-Oleum white. Yeah, I never said anything. I know this isn't about painting, but I did pearlescent white on this, and someone on my Xbox group gave a very good idea that that Rust-Oleum pearlescent is not very thick. It's very thin paint. So they said use a base coat, which was an excellent idea. I used about probably maybe half the paint, if not less. I used about 1.5 cans of the 2X white, and then just went over it with a couple light coats of the pearlescent. It came out awesome. So back onto the Ethernet port. It's looking pretty good. As you can see there by the gap, I went a little farther than I wanted, but I'm sure we're not going to bother it too much. Obviously, if you want to do a better job, you can do a much better job than me. But it's more or less because my bit wasn't want to cooperate and want to dig in a little more. Anyways, this should be good. Let's test it from the way it's originally going to go. And as you can tell, it's not. So we're going to grind a little bit of those metal, a little bit of the metal corners out. And actually, by the looks of it, if we get a really good look here, you can see right there, I'm going to grind that little piece of metal out, yeah, and then these edges. And once I get it test fitted, all right? Alright everyone, let's look at how we got here. Okay, so here's this guy. Let's see, my Ethernet port is going to orient with tab up. I should have already known that, right? So it's like that. So so this coming from the back, it's gonna look, oops, there. Okay, it was just working a second. Oh, that's because I got the tab. That's why, because of this tab. So I just put it upside down for showing. But as you can see, there's not much play. It actually didn't come out that bad at all, in my opinion. I would compare to what it could have. Now I'm thinking I might take a little bit of time. But I don't really want to spray paint this because I want to worry about getting the contacts. I mean, obviously, if I put like a junk Ethernet cord in here and then spray paint it, it might actually come out kind of cool. But honestly, I mean, having the blue, it's not too bad of a thing. Though, if I were you, I would definitely. If you have a black Xbox, I definitely stick a plug in there and paint it black, or just buy a black coupler. But either way, I think that's going to look kind of cool, and that will be quite functional. The bottom came out, well, I get a lot of brightness from the sunlight. The bottom came out really good where I want it, almost exactly where I want it. So hopefully, once I put the motherboard in here, we're not going to have too much of problems. Actually, if you wanted to, real quick, let's do a, let's change my focus so we can see what's going on. Let's stick the board in here. Let's make sure I got enough space. Do everything. Let's stick our board back in here. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. And of course, when you have a mod chip, you have a few more wires, like this guy, that goes to your control panel. Okay. Then the ones, in my opinion, that are the biggest pain is your power supply and your controller ports. Make sure you get this guy out of there. Make sure you get this guy, which has got your other controller port, and that should slip right in. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to test fit it with tab up, even though it will be oriented differently, because I haven't shaved that off, which don't ask me why. I even have the cutting wheel out. Let's see if this is going to fit, and Unfortunately, I don't think it is. Even though my hole came out nearly perfect for where I wanted this to be, it's not fitting. Let's see why. Let's take a look. Well, if we can, it's just a focus. Oops, wrong way. You can see the board there, and when it's sticking, you can see where the board bottom. So apparently my Ethernet port is a tad lower than the board, and so that's going to kind of suck because now I'm going to have a little slightly bigger hole than I wanted, because this will go in there nicely, but I'm hitting, oh, hold on. Well, hey, this might, okay, so this might just have to be because of the electronics right here. So I am going to take a short second and I'm going to shave off this tab, and we're going to stick it through this way and see what we can do with it. Alright, so I went ahead and went back to my cutting wheel and cut that sucker right off, shaved it down. I also noticed on this side I had this little lip, so that might have been causing a bit of an issue, but I left that there. Now, let me lift this up so it's more in your view. Now this guy will fit in here. There's only one problem, and this kind of sucks. See how far that is up? If I look at this right here, look how much of an angle that sucker's on. I mean, that's a huge angle, and I don't like that. Sorry, the brightness, it's because of that pearlescent white. It's really reflecting the light, which honestly I don't even need anymore. Just give me just a moment here to turn off my alternate light source, and that might help out a little bit. Or it might not. So let's take this out real quick. Wow, that really got wedged in there. Okay, so this is, I want it sitting snugly, like kind of on electronics, not smashing them. And as you can see, that really is kind of off. I mean, by the looks of it, I'm not gonna have to take out very much, mostly plastic, which is nice because when I cut that metal, remember how I cut a little high? That was probably a really good idea because I don't have that much metal to shave, so I'm gonna just cut a little bit off the top. I know that's gonna leave a very kind of bad cut on the bottom. There's nothing much I can do with it. Thankfully, for everyone out there that's watching this entire video, don't do that. If you're, when I look at this thing here, I mean, if you look at the bottom, I'm about 1 millimeter off the board, and that's where you want to start. So if you're looking at your Ethernet port, start your cut right, I mean, if you're really good at gauging this kind of stuff, start your cut right at the bottom of the internal part of your port. You can see that's kind of where it's lined up at. So start your cut there, and then yeah, when you're done with your cut, I mean, this gives you an idea of what yours should look like. Hopefully you're a better job at this than me. But let's cut out that top part real quick, and let's hope we can actually get this thing in there so you can get it glued, get it internalized, and make it a lot more functional than 20 almost beat a 10-year-old console. Alrighty, as you can tell, my hole did get a tad bigger, but here's the nice thing. Let's turn this around real quick. Let's put this inside. Now it's rubbing, it's right, I mean, I got a little bit of wiggle room. I went a little high, but honestly that came out really well. Now the cool thing is, if you're using a Dremel and you have a tool like this, don't just stab it. And if you're like, well duh, that's okay, but for those who don't know, when I went on this thing right here, all I did was go like this and kind of brushed back and forth, kind of lightly but firm. And that was able to give it kind of that nice flat look. Because honestly, if I put it in this way, you're like, holy crap, you know, it's a lot of wiggle. But it's going to be going in right here, and then when it's hot glued in, that's what it's going to look like. And honestly, in the camera, it's not going to look all that bad once I get all this black crap taken care of. Gosh, it looks terrible. Hold on. When you do that, make sure to close your eyes. Yeah. Oh, looks like that doesn't look too bad, honestly, for being an amateur job. So I gotta find my wife's hot glue gun because I don't really have one of my own. I do more soldering work. And then we're gonna glue that sucker down. Hold on, let's take. Here's the thing here though. Here's my. This is gonna go in the other end. So hold on a minute. One thing I do want to check that I'm kind of. This is the only part I'm somewhat worried about. Is when this goes in, I want to make sure it's flush. I want to make sure there's not much tension pushing down. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry about that. My focus. Whoops, sorry there. I want to make sure there's not any tension on the mod chip. I mean, it doesn't take much to move this thing. Good grief. I'm trying to get my better focus here. There. But honestly, this looks like it's not going to be too bad, and I think because I'm putting it like kind of right here, so, and then yeah, it's probably going to be going down. So it looks like I'm going to be routing this cable kind of up and around here. So I am going to route this here. Now, if I wanted to, honestly, I probably have enough space to put this underneath of my chip. Honestly, let's test that theory real quick. I mean, I could pull my chip off. It's not that big a deal. It's just on a pin header, which is awesome. So let's test that out. So let's take this here and then put that underneath. We're going to slide that over so it's not on top of that NVIDIA chip. On top of the pin header. Put this down. Hold on a second. Oh, that's one thing I wasn't thinking about. The electronics on the bottom of this is not going to let it do that. So, never mind. It's going to have to go on top, but based on the height of the electronics, I don't think we're going to have a problem. Yeah, getting that to work. So, let me see, that's flat right there. So yeah, when it goes over top, this looks like it's going to be alright. It's going to kind of come around here. And then this, remember, I am going to route my USB cord up under here. And I did zip tie it. If you saw over here, this is the, oops, I'm sitting on. This is kind of a big cord. But as you can see, I zip tied it here. I'm so glad I did that because it's working out so much better. We're going to put it underneath the controller port, run it across here, around, well, I don't know how much of a round we're going to go because of the DVD tray, because the DVD tray does kind of have these pieces here. If I want, I might be able to just take my cutting wheel and kind of cut a slot out of there, you know, like a 90 degree. So that way when it goes around the very outside of this, it won't be touched too much. And honestly, these are a pain anyways to put when you're putting your trays back in. They're very finicky. These should have been, when Microsoft did these little parts here, they should have chamfered the outside or rounded it off so you could just slide it on top instead of literally shifting it and try to pound it in. It's a pain. Anyways, this will go right here, which will be a nice spot because on the sides, because the lights are right here. So once I'm not going to glue this or nothing, but that like's a really good spot for it on the side, and then I'll be able to see the lights in the back, through the back of the case. Not that it really means anything. I don't know if it's going or not. Yeah, so let's find my wife's hot glue gun, which I don't know where it's at. It might take me a second. And yeah, let's really get to the fun part. All right, everyone. So. Hot glue gun here. I found it for once. My wife actually put it back where it goes. She's not really good at that, even with my stuff. Anyways, now with the hot glue gun, oops, get this. Now, let's see here. I'll adjust my focus real quick so we can get a much better view of this. There we go. I didn't put a lot on here, and that's okay because you don't need a lot. I just put some right here. And then I put some here. And then when I had the glue gun in here, I just kind of pointed it down towards the gap and just shot a bunch right underneath of it. And then, of course, let it cool. And honestly, that's got a very good firm hold. Now, the one thing I wanted to check, and I already checked this beforehand, but I just want to show you guys, this came out really nice and flush, which is how I wanted it. I want it flat, I want it flush, and it came out great. I had to kind of hold it in an area, but this is one I wanted to check. This Ethernet cable, for some odd reason, is goes on kind of hard. Get that thing out of here. What I mean by that is I'll just put a normal Xbox One and it goes in there pretty good, but this coupler, if you can kind of, I don't know if you can see this or not, but this coupler doesn't exactly have a big of a area as the original Xbox Ethernet port, because I mean, watch this. It didn't take that much to get out. But when I put in this thing, you can hear that click difference. That was quite a lot of pressure. Thankfully, though, and to get out is almost kind of equally as a... Oh, crap. Oh, I think that was my motherboard moving because I didn't screw it in. It's kind of a pain to get out. Nice part is this won't be moving from here because it's going to stay in there because it's either going to be wired or Wi-Fi. So that is luckily not going to be moving. And like I said, now here's the moment of truth I want to test with something. If you guys remember me saying I want to be able to take this out. Can I do that? Can I actually take this entire thing out? And the truth is, and here's the funny part, I never even tried this. Like I said, I want to be able to take my motherboard out, and let's try to see what is getting caught. Something's getting caught. I think, oh, it's this stupid power cable every time. And look at that. So I can give you a little better look. And honestly, like I said, I didn't put a whole lot of glue on it. And I didn't really want to like try to put anything in here because it's kind of close to that. Honestly, that did a really good job. Watch me break this sucker off or something. Yeah, and then, I mean, you can see there, it didn't, I mean, it's not super flat, but it came out dang close. Yeah, this is 1.6 hack job. Anyways, yeah, that came out really well. Let's resume our focus here. So, watch, now I won't be able to get this thing back in or something. That always happens to me. Let's find out how this works. See, look at that. That's awesome. See how that Ethernet, extra Ethernet port just kind of flows in there? I mean, honestly, I'm probably about as impressed as you guys, because this stuff usually never happens to me where things actually go correct. So let's, wow, that's awesome. That thing just slipped right in there like butter. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah, that's exactly how you want things to work, where you can just take the board out and you can slide it right in. Okay, so having a slightly bigger hole might be better, maybe just, but yeah, that came out great. Sorry if I'm tooting my own horn here, but that usually hardly ever happens to me. Usually it's like, well, it goes in and it's not coming back out. No, that is great. Really great. All right, so the next step here we're going to get to, and this is going to be actually slight interesting, because remember, the DVD drive has to go in before the hard drive, but this has got to be plugged into here first. And so, yeah, this is going to be kind of fun. And honestly, I'm actually about to that point. So, we'll just continue the video and let's do this real quick. So, now remember, this board can come back. Sorry, I don't know if I can get you a better angle of what I'm doing here. But here's the, remember, this is kind of zip tied. So I'm going to pull, hold on a second, pull these wires back so you can see, and I am going to try, now here's the thing, when I zip tie this, I should have zip tied it back a little further, but like I said, I wanted to push this cable. This is going to come up and over. I'm not the best for cable routing. Now remember when I was, oh, here we go. remember I was talking about this here? Now, let's see. This is the one that we're going to be dealing with. So, by looks of it, I should be able to route the cable, because it's going to be coming down towards more of the bottom here. Should be able to route it kind of at a wider angle, like this. Honestly, I could have probably put this cable underneath, but we're going to go kind of like that, so that should spread that area. And I think it'd be nice if I could actually put my USB just like that. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see how much space. So this is where I want it. As I remember, I had my IDE cable. It was right there, which honestly shouldn't be a problem. That's a really thin cable. Thinking of bringing my USB back like that maybe, and then plugging in here. Let's do that real quick. Let's plug this sucker in. Because like I said, I have plenty of space. This is kind of how I want it to orientate. Let's see, I got this guy too. So this is going to be kind of fun. So let's plug this guy in. Let's put this here, and I don't know, maybe like that or something. Let's get all this plugged back in real quick. So this is... Let's plug this all back in. So it'll also help keep my USB cable kind of down where I want it. Now this is actually supposed to be stickered up against here, but I peeled this thing off so many times that the sticker don't work anymore. Not that it matters. As you can see, if you have never noticed how this bows out. That's because my board under there for the power button is broke in half. When I originally did the mod, I didn't know how to take that board out, and I thought pressure would do the work. Yeah, it snapped it. So it of course snapped it right where the connector's at. So I had to solder a bunch of little wires on that connector, and that's why only one of the LED, because there's two LEDs on this, and that's only, I think, this side works. Only one of these sides work. So anyways, this Xbox also has the LED port mod done, which let me tell you right now, before you do it, I still see these little metal housings. The first kid I watched that did it literally took a pair of pliers and stripped them suckers off. Don't ever do that. Those have solder joints on each side, and once you desolder them joints, they slide right off. Put your LEDs in and slide them right back on. And you can, don't even have to resolder. They kind of click. And that way they look like completely factory, besides, of course, the lights, which are blue for me. Anyways, okay, enough of that blabbering. Let's get this thing. It's like I said, I wanted to hear. I'm very tempted to hot glue that sucker and just stick it right there, but I want to do that and then like come back and be like, oops. So, like I said, this has got to go in first. This is gonna be real fun. But I'd rather do this on video so you can see how much fun, not so much, it is. Now, by the looks of things here, I'm just trying to see how much space I have. Underneath, I got a lot of space. Look at all that space I got underneath. So I think I'm going to try and just push. Now, see, my main problem I'm going to have, and I can already see it, is this pole or post is going to not be my friend. Okay, that's why. Okay, there we go. It was tied around this capacitor here. Actually, these capacitors might be kind of nice because they're going to kind of help route my wires a little bit. I don't think this is grounded, that USB, so I should have no problem there. I mean, make sure everything's plugged in because you don't want to be like not plugged in. Wait, hold on a second. Maybe I don't have enough. Oh, damn. Okay, I do not actually. Hold on just a minute. I need to pull this up. Okay, see how I don't actually have enough space to slide that in there the way I wanted, or the way I planned. So, but I do right here, but I really don't want it in this vent. I guess I could put it back here. It's not what I wanted to do. Don't ask me why I didn't gauge that better. This is going to completely kind of screw up. I mean, I guess not. I mean, I guess it'll be okay right there, won't it? I still want my USB plug to be over here, though. So, oh, good Lord. See, this is exactly why you should. Now this, yeah. Yeah, this is why you should remember your process of installation before you do it. Honestly, one of my next projects, which will probably never happen, is... What the hell? Thought this went in like this. Does it use this short side? Sorry, having a little issues here, trying to figure out why this is not wanting to go in. I mean, it doesn't appear that any of my pins are bent. What the crap? There we go. Okay, we're good. I have no idea why that was so difficult. Alright, and then, of course, we want to get all the cables put back in. Now here comes the, I like this other not so fun part. Okay, see, this is what I was wondering about. Pull that up, like right there. This is the part I hate about this Xbox, is these stupid... Microsoft, I hate you for this, but you probably did this on purpose. There, that one's in. Okay, awesome. Wow, that actually went in a lot smoother than it usually does. So, that's kind of held in there a little tight, but that's okay. I don't think any of that's on my mod chip. I sure hope not. Yeah, and this is great because you don't even see where that USB power is going. And then over here on the side, you can see a little bit of white wires. But that is looking great. Let's make sure everything on the back. Cool. Alright. Now here's the thing. I have a 320 gig hard drive, which I know for some people that's tiny because most people nowadays with mod chips are putting like 1 or 2 terabyte hard drives in their systems because that way they can just put everything they want, games, emulators. For me, believe it or not, I bought this hard drive off of someone on Marketplace, and I kid you not, the sucker was still sealed in the original box and was probably about 5 years old per the copyright date on the box. Okay, here we go again. Now here's the thing. I don't think this is a result. Oh, wow. What the hell's going on here? Hold on. Wow. Those are really stiff. I think that's the reason why it's not going down. It's because of those freaking... Oh, hold on a minute. This is what I think I hate. It's when they built there. Is that down? There ain't no way that's down. No, it's because of these stupid wires. These power wires. I've never had that problem. Yeah, I don't have any screws, so mine kind of shifts around. Honestly, that's not a good thing, but here we are. I do plan on putting a different IDE power connector because I think this one's loose. Because I have at some moments where my hard drive won't spin up, and I know that's not a problem with this hard drive because, well, it's happened through the last 2 that I've had. The factory one, then I had a 215 here that died, and that kind of sucked. Because then I didn't use the Xbox for like 5 years. Oh crap. Another thing I was going to do with this, I was going to put this inside. Son of a bee. In order to do that, I'm going to have to take this all apart. I have to take the one controller port off, which is where that wire is running through, and then take the... Nah, maybe I think I might just hot glue that dang thing to the front, because honestly, I don't want to take it apart if I have to switch banks on my BIOS. This is why you don't do stuff. Yeah, someone's probably telling me, hey, by the way, you should have screwed your motherboard in. Great idea. We'll be back in a sec. Alright, so screws are back in. Put that back in. This here, there's our wireless, which is in a kind of a nice spot. So yeah, let's continue now, unfortunately, with my Xbox. If yours is like mine, your DVD tray likes to stick, so I'm actually gonna like kind of plug this thing in the way it is, because sometimes my DVD tray needs a little nudge to open. But anyways, yeah, that's came out well. So let's plug our come on, honestly, that doesn't look all that bad. I'm not some of them people that just put up in some frickin' random area. If I can get my focus in a little better here. There. Yeah, that doesn't look all that bad, I guess. Could be much, much worse, as always. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue this sucker up in here to its spot, and yeah, if I end up having any interference with the Wi-Fi, because this Wi-Fi card was sitting on top of the Xbox where it had full range, we'll see if we have any interference. I certainly hope not, because that's actually what this cage is for. Anyways, thanks guys for watching, and yeah, that's how to install or internalize your Wi-Fi card. Alright everyone, we got all back together, and we'll see how this runs. Let's turn her on. Alright, this is normal for mine. I have it set on cycle through the BIOS. I like the fact that the LAN light is going, which is the orange one. It means my wireless is actually connecting correctly. So far so good on that end. Let's go check the other end and let's see if we can connect to our FTP without any problems. Alright, so I am using Flash FXP for this. This is just the one I go with. So I'm going to go up here to my quick connect, and I'm just going to go, oops, not history. Jeez, oh pizza, can't click it. And then I'm going to go history. 2.20 is my Xbox. And bam! There it is. Directories, emulators, all that fun stuff. Games. Yeah. Yeah, if anyone wants to know about this, I do have the Kiltrosity and Remapped and all that stuff. And then there's a whole bunch of Xbox stuff that I got, and that's not even all of it. Anyways, yeah, everything's working great. My Xbox is now on Wi-Fi, which is super freaking awesome. Alright guys, thanks for watching.